In this video, we are going to learn about the powers of 10. When looking at powers of 10, the 10 is called our base, and the number written to the upper right of the base is called the exponent. This chart shows the powers of 10, the expression it is equal to, and the value. Our first one is 10 to the first power, meaning that we only have one 10, and the value is 10. 10 to the second power is showing that we are multiplying 10 times itself. 10 times 10 has a value of 100. 10 to the third power means that we are multiplying 3 tens. 10 times 10 times 10 equals 1,000. And our final example, 10 to the fourth power, shows that we are multiplying 4 tens. 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 for a value of 10,000. And we could continue this pattern on and on. 10 to the 5th, 10 to the 10th, 10 to the 20th. Powers of 10. Powers of 10 are very useful when we want to write very large numbers, especially numbers with a lot of zeros. I could write the number 5 million in standard form. I can also write it using a power of 10. I could write it as 5 times 10 to the 6th power, which is showing that we are multiplying 5 times 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tens. Let's look at population and powers of 10. Chicago has a population of 2.7 million people, or 2,700,000 people. This can also be written as 2.7 times 10 to the 6th, or as 27 times 10 to the 5th. Please pause the video here and think about why the number can be written two different ways. How did we get those expressions? Where the decimal point is placed is very important in powers of 10. In the first example, we are multiplying 2.7 times 10 to the 6th. Each time we multiply by 10, the numbers shift to the left in the place value chart. While those numbers are shifting to the left, the decimal point is shifting to the right to create a larger number. So here we see 10.7 times 10 to the 6th. When we multiply it by 10 one time, we get 27. When we multiply it by 10 times 10, or 100, we get 270. When we multiply by 1,000, we get 2,700. When we multiply by 10 to the 4th, or 10,000, we get 27,000. When we multiply by 10 to the 5th, we get 270,000. And finally, when we multiply 2.7 times 10 to the 6th, our value is 2,700,000 people. We get the same result when we multiply 27 times 10 to the 5th. So we're starting with 27. 27 times 10 is 270. 27 times 100 is 2,700. 27 times 1,000, or 10 to the 3rd, is 27,000. 27 times 10 to the 4th is 270,000. And finally, 27 times 10 to the 5th is 2,700,000 people. Okay, now we have an example from Greece. The population of Sparta, Greece, is 16,239 people. So we're going to also include some rounding here. First, I am going to round to the tens place. And if I round 16,239 to the tens place, my answer, or my number, is 16,240. Okay, now I am going to write that number again using powers of 10. So here's one way that I could write it. I could write 16.24 times 10 to the third. I could also write 162.4 times 10 to the second. And another way I could write it is 1 and 624 thousandths times 10 to the fourth. So there's multiple ways that I can show a number using powers of 10 depending on where my decimal point is placed. Okay, this time let's round the population to the nearest hundreds. Then my number is going to be 16,200. And again, I can show that value in different ways with powers of 10. I could show 16.2 times 10 to the third. I could show 162 times 10 to the second. I could also have 1 and 62 hundredths times 10 to the fourth. Okay, the same population, just rounded to a different place value than our first example. Okay, next we have 4 questions for you to try on your own. I'm going to have you write down your answers on a sheet of paper, and then the correct answers will be on the very last slide. So our first question asks you to write 96 times 10 to the fourth in standard form. You can pause here and think about it, and then start again to go to the next question. Okay, question 2. Write 7.3 times 10 to the second in standard form. Again, you can pause and have time to write down your answer. Our third question, write 6.37 times 10 to the fourth in standard form. And you can pause now. And our final question, write 5.104 times 10 to the fifth in standard form. You can pause, and when you're ready, come back to the next slide and you can check your answers. Okay, our answer to number 1 is B, 730. Number 2 is D, 960,000. Number 3 is B, 63,700. And number 4 is C, 510,400. Okay, this is the end of the video. And next, you will be working on an activity with rounding populations of different cities, states, countries, and also the elevations of some different mountains and landmarks. And if you need some extra help, you can come back to this video to help you with the powers of 10.